Hey, how's it going? It's going pretty good here. I'm going to read a journal for you. I have a lot of them stacked up. So this one is from 10/6. The first one of that day, the Mayan day, was for Flint. And it's only when in the fullness of joy will you know who you are. Changing beliefs. Now, as usual, it's been long enough ago that I wrote it. I've slept since then, so I don't remember what it is. So here we go. You don't know who you are, do you? Can you really say that you do? Nor can I. I'm not claiming any special perfection here or anywhere. We're all in the same boat. In the oneness of all that is, we share. So I often encourage us to follow our joy, to seek that out. Whatever brings that uplift of pure, simple happiness, find and indulge it often. Soak that up. Words couldn't contain how beneficial this is, and not just to you or to me, but to all life. Our joy radiates out like a flame, like a sun, bringing healing to everything it touches. For one thing, this raises your frequency, the overall energy signature of your consciousness. You've heard of the various bands of brainwaves, the alpha, beta, delta, theta, and such. Well, it goes deeper, though, than just brainwaves. It goes right to the heart, and the heart of each cell. When you are tense and anxious, there is an action of closing up, of contraction, restriction. That's the energy signature of anxiety, which forms a part of most unhappy states, whatever they are, contraction. See this in contrast to the radiance, the effect of your joy. See how joy brings expansion. It brings a certain radiance, a shining. And these are natural states. They are nothing we concentrate on and attempt to cause. They are natural effects of our feeling states or actions of that. Now, be in heart because we're headed for expansion. So, anchor within. Now, imagine yourself just not as a body, nor even in a body. Imagine the body as residing within you. Can you get that? Be the space. Expand out. Be sure to include in your expansion the other planes and densities or dimensions not seen with most physical eyes. Some can see them, but not most yet. Okay, have you got that? It's a mind pretzeler for those who live in mind and are still identified with body or with mind. But you contain that. Okay, anchor in heart. See self as a point deep within. Now, expand out like an invisible balloon. Expand out as far as you like, while still being able to be conscious of the central dot. You don't have to go far. There's no great benefit to going far. If it helps, you can envision it as a spark or a small flame, very small. Keep touching bases with that as we move on. At this point, then, you are aware of more of the fullness of being than you are in your natural conscious state. The body is something that moves around within the field of your awareness. You are not limited to it. Later on, if you like, you can take what we've done thus far as the basis for a meditation of expansion. You can expand as far out, contain as much of your surroundings as you like. As long as you keep returning to the central dot, as long as you can maintain consciousness of that, connection with that, you can go for it. Let there be like a weaving of constant expansion and return, in and out. This is strengthening. And I'll step out of it here to say, your aura, your energy force field, the boundary of that is what it is. And you can play with your imagination, or sometime it's fun to just sit down and feel how far does it expand out. And the more we wake up, the broader the expanse. I don't understand it. That's how it works that I've experienced. Okay, but moving on, for that is not what we're doing right now. Just contain your body and maybe your immediate environs. That's enough. Oh, and stay centered in heart. Guess I mentioned that a time or two already, huh? Oh, well. Now, I have something for you to add to your awareness there. As you sensitize to the other densities or dimensions you contain, be aware of the other elements of life that inhabit your space. It's not really your space, of course. It's just space. We're just calling it that for convenience. Okay, as you go to the more dense densities, you may become aware of the cells of the body, of their consciousness. They are sentient. Everything is aware. Now, it may not, and cells don't, have the full expanse of your awareness. That doesn't mean they're not conscious. It's just a different experience, and not one that's better or worse either. Just simply different. See if you tune into that. And this is a heart thing. Give it a moment. That is available. It doesn't need to be invented, this that I'm suggesting. If you stick to heart, you'll catch the mind in the process of doing that. Just turn away from such things, such thoughts. Be empty. That's the best way to perceive what is without the inventions of mind. We'll play with mind another day. For this, though, emptiness is best. Okay, did I chatter on long enough for you to make your inner connection to your cells? No matter. Let's take the next step. I used the cells as an example of the infinity of what you can tune into. They're not all there is there. Okay, there you float as the space containing the body you used to think of as the self. You contain the mind, the energy force field called the aura by some. You contain the air around the body. You contain everything present in that space, including all the frequency bands and their contents. You contain even the radio waves passing through, all the programs traveling through the air that way. Tune in. So feel yourself expansive, expanded to contain more of the whole right there where you are, but always focused around that central core, dot or flame. Are you ready? Now, how about becoming aware of the other beings around you? What do you feel about that? If it scares you, let's take a pause and let's just look at that. We're used to thinking we're alone. You've heard of the saying, divide and conquer, I'm sure. That's been, perhaps, the main strategy of those in control of our world, to separate us out, any way they can, ethnically, religiously, politically, ethically, mentally, spiritually, yada, yada, yada. And they've done a good job. Well, we're going to surrender every bit of that you are ready to let go of right now. Are you up for this? Do you enjoy that feeling of isolation, of separation, of being alone? No? Well then, let it go. It's not real. Right here and now, let it go into the ethers. Consciously reject all sense of separation from the rest of everything, from the cosmos, from the whole. We use our gift of free will to simply make our choice. We choose to open up out into what is. Okay, how's that feeling now? For some of you, maybe for many, this may be enough for now. It's a big step, especially if you're used to thinking of self as an individual, as existing all alone. And that is perhaps the greatest lie ever told, but it doesn't help much to hear that when that is your belief. Your belief trumps whatever you perceive. Actually, your beliefs control what you perceive. As we step deeper into watching and observing, we begin to see this at work. It takes a certain basic level of surrender, nothing too deep, to begin to catch this in action. Yeah, just centering and emptiness while watching will bring it into view. Now, I think I'd like to give you, as a homework assignment, if you like, what I was going to make a part of this journal. I don't want to push things too fast. It's delicate work getting in there with consciousness, working with beliefs about the self, especially the big lie that we're alone, that we even could be, that being alone is even possible. Today, it seems real, but very soon now, when you ponder it, you'll just laugh. That's not far ahead, if that's your choice. Meanwhile, your assignment is this. Let go of the idea that you are or were ever alone. Stay close to center with this, for fear may arise. It's a shocking idea when we've bought into the lie of separation, of privacy. The contrast between these views is pretty great, so be empty, be in heart, and just observe. If you fall into 3D consciousness, don't bother to do this. It won't work. This is deeper, and so are you. So, concurrently, if you need to, keep reminding the self that it's not the body nor the mind. Remember, you simply contain these and so much more. Be the space, my friends. You don't have to spread out very far from the body at all. You can stay close. Just don't get stuck in the form. More than that. Okay, that was the homework assignment. But I see I've strayed widely from the title. Which came first this time? One never knows. Things are always changing. What to do? To continue to pursue the original impulse, or make that another journal and retitle this one? Okay, I'm going to close with that. How you're not yourself. You don't find your true self unless you're in joy. I had a certain meaning, a certain understanding I wanted to share around that, so here goes. Did you know that a number of ET races around us are after the codes we carry around within these bodies? Had you heard that? While, as I've said, I'm not much for trusting channeling, there are a few, both channelers and contactees, who have shared that with us. There are codes contained in our bodies, in our DNA mostly, I think, that they greatly desire. Now, why that is, I couldn't tell you, nor do I much care at this point. If I needed to know, I would know. Hey, I'm happy to take each thing as I get it. I'm not greedy. I know that once I've digested the meal before me, more will come. So let's stick to this. Let's just consider it for a few moments. Other beings seeking what's encoded in our DNA. Now, I don't need to tell you that there are beings who have made Earth a prison planet, do I? Call them the powers that be, or like some now do, the powers that were. It doesn't matter. These beings occupy 3D and other near dimensions. Oh dear, lost my place. Other near dimensions, and they're used to being in control and invisible. Well, life has played a bit of a sad joke on them. It turns out that these codes that they seek, they're not available when we're not happy. When we're in distress and anxiety, our DNA curls up. It rolls up into a ball. In that state, it appears that the coding is unavailable. So their plan to be both in total control of us and to mine us for whatever is there, well, it blew up in their faces. We're not so easy to control, it turns out. I like that. We're meant to be in joy, in such deep spiritual pleasure, my friends. That's how we're designed. Even our very biology objects to being held captive, to living a life forced on us. Our very cells say, thanks, but no thanks. And I think that's hilarious. Out of all the unplanned eventualities the dark powers couldn't plan for, this may be my favorite one. As I said, I have no idea what they want with these codes. Since both the nefarious and the benevolent races seek this encoded information, I don't find it at all negative. It is just that which is. Friends, when I came to this journal, I came so joy-filled, it's not expressible, not in words. I learned some things, remembered some things this morning while swimming in the bliss. I remembered how this is our natural state. There's nothing rare or unusual about it at all. We don't have to be perfect. Nothing. We are beings of light and of gratitude. Our happiness radiates out just like a sun. It's that powerful. And so are we. That has all, it's just been covered over. It is still there for each one of us. And this is our very nature. It is our journey of free will and choice to come back into it. Each one's pathway is different though, so let's be casting no stones. Some come to it in the darndest of ways. Let's create a new culture of respect for our fellow man, our fellow creatures, so that love blossoms everywhere. No more trying to convert anyone, please. Rather than that, look to the one we thought to convert to see what can we learn from that one. I guarantee you, the opportunity for learning is there, else we wouldn't be trying to teach that one. It's that backwards mirror effect I speak of sometimes. Life mirrors self to us this way. Remember my little saying? These eyes through which I hoped to see God are the eyes through which God sees me. Like that. Now, let me close by attempting the impossible, transferring via words some of what I remembered, felt, and knew about self in this radiant state where the tears freely flowed. It was one layer of understanding opening after another as I expanded out into what I perceived in nature all around me, having barefoot coffee in the sun. As wave after wave of joy flowed, heart expanded into each one. It had to be a conscious expansion, or at least it was a felt one, heart adjusting again and again. As I expanded out in love for the trees, sharing that with them in a rapturous state, pretty soon I began to feel self as the trees. Now, it was subtle, not obvious. Rather, the boundaries of I melded out to include them. Our being merged somewhat, again, not totally. You see, this is not some awesome, hardly reachable state I'm conveying here. This is not that. This is what is available to everyone, what comes naturally, eventually, after major changes in vision, after clearing out a bunch of false beliefs. This is what is natural. This is not even special. It just is what is, and not just for me, I promise. It's what's available to one and all. I was not transported off into some other dimension, communing directly, individually, with particular beings. It was not like that at all. See this as doable, please. If you don't, then by your own belief, you short-circuit your ability. You shut yourself out of this. Clear out all limiting beliefs. So what if this isn't a part of this particular now for you? Does that matter so much? Just accept, fully accept it as simply possible. That's the most important first step. We're not meant to suffer, my friends. That's a part of the lie. It begins with separation, this lie. Thus, by you working on your false beliefs that accept and reinforce division, separation, individuality at the expense of being the whole, you are working on that. It's the little things we do in clearing them out, those beliefs one by one, the lies we've been told. This, to me, is how I see awakening happening. One lie getting cleared out at a time. So, the only ones who will be able to mine our DNA codes for anything useful will be those who treat us as friends with respect, those whom we can come to trust their integrity as well as our own. It's in the design, right down to the cellular level, and that's a beautiful thing, especially if you can see it from heart. So, don't separate this joy out as some unreachable samadhi or nirvana, something that must be earned, some rapturous state reserved only for the divine. Please do clear out all those beliefs, and in particular, the ones that say you're not worthy in some way. Those are lies. As we begin to consciously choose our beliefs, let us watch and observe. Let's get rid of the programming together, my dear friends. You are meant to be in joy. Accept it. Change your beliefs. Take command. Come on. Whose beliefs are they anyway? Are they not yours? Do you not have free will? Who is forcing beliefs on you? Let go of such ideas. Surrender can be fun sometimes. And come on, get into this. Get back into joy. It's your natural state. See you again soon.